Hey guys, it's Perry from Ssid, and today I'm going to show you how to set up some Horizon radios. So come on, let's go. So in today's box, what we have is our direct mount antennas, our Ethernet cables, our PoE power supplies, and our Horizon 900 radios. The first thing I did was I plugged in my PoE power supply. Next, we're going to unbox our Horizon radio. Please never power up a Horizon radio without an antenna attached to it. We're going to take one of our direct mount antennas and we're going to attach it directly to the radio. Once that's done, you can take off the warning label and we're ready to add our Ethernet cables. Now that the antenna is connected to the radio, we can power on the radio and begin programming. To power on the radio, take one of your Ethernet cables and insert it into the PoE port on the radio, indicated by the sticker. Then take the other end of the cable and connect it to the port labeled out on the power supply. Then take your other Ethernet cable and connect it to the port labeled in on your power supply. And take the other end and connect it to the switch. Repeat this step for any additional radios you may have. Once the radios are powered on and connected to the same switch as the computer, open the Esteem Discover Suite software. Click the Discover button to detect the connected radios. Select which radio you want to configure first, then right-click on the radio and select Configure Radio. Your default web browser will now open and connect to the IP address of the selected radio. A login prompt will appear when you're attempting to connect to the radio. The default username and password are both admin in all lowercase. You will then be greeted by the home page of the Web Configuration Manager. From here, select Setup to begin configuring the radio. For this application, we'll stick to the AP Bridge mode. We are going with AP Bridge mode because it's simple, straightforward, and the most commonly used mode of operation. Select whether you want to enable Dhcp services or leave off for static IP addressing. The root bridge option is typically enabled at the master radio. This page is where you will configure the Dhcp server settings if enabled. Since we will be going with static IP addressing in this setup, we will leave it configured as shown. The default route only needs to be configured when the router is present in the network. Now you will configure the bandwidth and set the max distance. The max distance should be set to match the longest distance between this radio and the one it's communicating with directly. Select the channel you wish to operate on. The bandwidth and the channel selection must be the same for all radios in the network. On this page, you'll configure the SSID and data rate for the client connections to this radio. We'll be not using clients in this example. Select the level of encryption you want to enable, protected management frames, and if you wish to hide your SSID beacons. The level of encryption is only used by client connection, and protected management frames encrypts all packets sent by the radio, including beacons. Here is where we're going to set the passphrase depending on the level of encryption. The access control list is a filter for client connections and will not be used in this example. This is where we will configure the radios to talk to each other. To do this, we will need to create a peer link between the radios. Start by clicking Add and enter the opposite radio's serial number in. Path length is used in mesh networks to determine path priority. Rate control is used when configuring the Horizon radio to talk to existing 195E radios. The encryption type must be the same on both sides. The link ID and passphrase are used to generate a unique encryption key. If used, it must be the same on both sides. For this example, we're going to leave the settings at default. Click Create Peer when done. You will then see the other radio in the peer list indicated by its serial number and WLAN MAC address. Finally, you can name your radio and select Commit Changes. The radio will then reboot with the new settings. Repeat this process with any additional radio. Seems too easy, right? Now that the radios are rebooted, they're ready to be installed. If you have any questions, please feel free to call us or visit our website.